Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Nitro workshop on the evolution of Nitro portals. Looking like there's a couple more people joining last minute here, so just give them another second or so. While we're waiting for them, let's go ahead and talk about the couple things that you've heard this before if you've been on the workshops, but I feel like a boat captain has to say at the beginning of every trip. There's a questions box in the GoToWebinar screen. If you have any questions on the presentation, anything during the call today, go ahead and pop your question into the questions box. I'll address it either in the webinar or we can get you the answer after the webinar is over. So to start out with, again, this is James Restivo from Crow Canyon Software. Looks like we have a few people just joining in. We're talking about the evolution of portals in Crow Canyon. Actually, we're going to be talking about the evolution of portals in general in Crow Canyon, and we're going to be talking about the latest iteration, which is what we call the Nitro portal. We're going to talk about what that means for you, how that's different from the other portals we've had in the past. So you can kind of see if you want to use it or how you might be able to implement that tool. And we can talk about that as well. So we'll go ahead and this is actually going to be fairly different than some of the other workshops where we're doing a little more slide presentation heavy. There's not a lot to demo, but I will do a little bit of demonstration of the Nitro portal at the end of the call. And of course, if there's anything you want to dig into in more detail, happy to do that. Just go ahead and pop your question into the questions box and we'll take it from there. So to start out with, what is a portal? Right. So I think most of you get the concept. It's a end user interface. It's something that people can tag into that doesn't have a lot of clutter. It's clean, used mainly for accessing information that might be stored elsewhere. As far as the Crow Canyon portal is concerned specifically, it's a space for users to submit tickets and requests. Or if you do other things as well, they can search knowledge base articles. If you're using our IT premium tool, there's the service catalog. So there are a few other things that they can do with it. And then they can also see requests that they've submitted. So this concept is pretty consistent throughout all the portals we've offered. And it's how you implement it, what you can do with it. That's mainly what's changed over time. And we're going to take a quick walk back through, and I apologize, I threw this slide to get this next slide together last minute. I was hoping to do more of a timeline, but I didn't quite have a chance to get that timeline infographic put together. Really just kind of put this together the last 5 minutes before the call started. But just sort of kind of walk down memory lane of what application portals have meant for Crow Canyon or have done looked like in Crow Canyon applications throughout the years. So we started out with this portal site, we called it, which is essentially a root site of the site collection. Our applications are installed as subsites usually, and they can tag into a root site, kind of a roll-up view in that sense. It worked pretty well, but there was a lot of complex permissioning that we had to do to keep users out of the back end. It was really mainly a SharePoint site with a few bells and whistles, nothing too crazy. So we kind of built on that concept and created what we call the Power Portal, which for the most part is what people are using today. So this has been around for several years. Most of our implementations at this point, unless you're using a really old version of a program on 2010 or 2013, then you're more than likely you have the Power Portal or the Nitro Portal. And so we expanded on the concept of using a separate site, kind of keeping people out of the back end, keeping people away from the application settings, and really giving them only access to what they need to see. So that was the whole concept of the portal. It's a separate space for the end users. And when we built the Power Portal, we did some integration. We made it integrated with our Nitro tool set. The Power Portal actually predated Nitro, but we integrated it into the whole Nitro concept. And so when you have a Nitro site, you can deploy a portal as part of that if you want to. And so that's where that was coming from. But it has limitations, and we'll talk about that as we kind of go through this presentation today. And the latest iteration we have at the bottom here, you'll see, is called the Nitro Portal. This was this came out late last year, hasn't been around all that long, although I guess it is already September, so I guess it has been around almost a year. And so this Nitro Portal, as compared to the Power Portal, gives you more configurability, gives you more flexibility, a much more improved installation process. It acts more like a Nitro application than the Power Portal, which is a subset of the application. I'll kind of talk about that a little bit, kind of understand what that concept means, but it's a different way to present end user interface. So when we're talking about portals, the old portal site, we're not going to talk about that anymore. That's, as far as we're concerned, dead and gone. We're talking about the Nitro portals and the Power portals going forward. And what both of these interfaces offer is a friendly interface for end users, which has security settings to help keep users out of the main application site. And it also has the ability to run in both classic and modern UI. So both of these portals can be in your classic interface, which is going to be, 100% of the on-prem customers are using that classic interface. If you're in Office 365, you might choose to use the modern interface, and that is doable with both of these types of portals. The Power Portal is slightly different in that it's runs in the modern UI, but it's going to look the same in both the modern UI and the classic. The Nitro Portal will present itself a little differently in the classic and the modern, having to do with the flexibility of it and the fact that it uses Crocanian web parts to build it out. So we'll talk more about that. There's a few more slides we can dig through, and they'll mention those topics again and again. So a quick comparison of the two portals. So as I'm saying, the Power Portal, the older version, has a pre-built layout of web parts. And what that means is it's kind of static interface. It's got the quick tickets, it's got the notifications, it's got the links, it's got a view my tickets page, it's got a knowledge-based search page. That's pretty consistent across the board. There's not much you can do to change it. You can add new view pages. There are some things you can do to make it a little more customized. You can change the color scheme if you need to. There are some thematic elements. You can change the background. So there is some configurability there, but layout-wise, it's going to be pretty static, limited ability to adjust the look and feel. And one of the main from a technical perspective, one of the main limitations of the Power Portal was that it was linked to a main application site and only one main application site. So we didn't have this concept of being able to roll up multiple application sites into one portal site. Whereas the Nitro Portal, we've deployed that with the ability to add web parts such as list rollup. You can add other list views, custom list views from across different sites. You can add your reports if you want to. You can add tiles and dials to it. So there's a lot more you can do with that Nitro Portal that gives you a lot more flexibility in the interface and a lot more control over what it looks like. It's a pre-packaged layout, which means when it's installed, it has a particular way the web parts are laid out, but that's changeable through editing the page. Whereas in the Power Portal, you can't change that necessarily without hard-coded actual code changes to the site. And the big thing about the Nitro Portal 2 is that it can be a subsite to the main application page, or it can be a parallel site. And I'll show you that with the site structure in just a minute here. And that kind of comes to light with how you install both of them. So as far as the portal structure comparison with the Power Portal, you have this really kind of static interface where you have this one application site that talks up to the portal site, and that's about it. Whereas in the Nitro Portal, you get this more flexible interface where you can have multiple applications tagging into that one Nitro Portal. And you kind of see how that structure looks here. You can have multiple applications and not just limited to 2, of course. You can have as many as you want. With the Power Portal, it's really just one-to-one relationship between the portal and the site without some coding. All right, and so as I mentioned, with the Nitro Portal, you have these functions where you can add the list rollup tool, you can add multiple list views on a page, you can add tiles and dials, you can have Nitro reports. These are things that you don't necessarily get on the Power Portal. So that's where the Nitro Portal really comes into play as being a better interface, more flexible interface, and more that you can do with it. while you can't have list views on the Power Portal, you can actually have multiple list views on a page, and that could actually show list views across multiple different sites within your SharePoint environment. And then as far as adding the web parts to the page, we have a whole webinar dedicated to that workshop that we did a while back about building beautiful dashboards. That same concept of adding classic UI web parts and adding modern UI web parts to pages, that applies to the Nitro portal as well as any other workspace page. So if you want to learn more about adding those into the Nitro portal, I'd recommend going to this workshop right now. As of today, it's this third one over to the left on the workshops page that we have. That's going to be moving over. It'll move over to the it'll move over to the fourth slot in when we get this one uploaded. But just so you know, it's on that workshops page. So if you want to go review that, it'll tell you how to add these web parts, tiles, dials, reports, and all that to your pretty much any web part workspace page. So as far as the install process, the install of the Power Portal, like I said, it installs as a subsite to the main application. It's going to require that connection. It's always going to have in the URL that application site / portal or whatever. It doesn't have to be portal, but it could be whatever you want it to be. And then the other side of it too, as far as the installation process itself, it's pretty manual for that Power Portal. There's a lot of connections you need to make, some code text that you have to put in there. It's all outlined in our documentation, but it's a little tedious. It does take some time. Whereas the Nitro Portal was built to be pre-configured, ready to go. You install it, it's pretty much ready to be used at that point, and then you can customize it as you need to, but you don't have to go through and manipulate these different parts that you would have to do with the Power Portal. So Nitro Portal is a lot easier to install. You really just go and install it, and then you can start using that as your portal. And I do see a question in here about moving over from the Power Portal to the Nitro Portal. It's a great question, and I'll get more detailed answer for you after the webinar, but at a high level, essentially what it is, you're installing a Nitro Portal, and then you can configure that Nitro Portal to look how you want it to look and maybe mirror what you have on the Power Portal already. So it's not really moving from the one to the other. It's basically creating a new portal site that you can then reconfigure to look or act like the portal you have today. And there's no data on that portal, right? All that data that you're processing, submitting tickets or viewing tickets, all of that lives in the main application site. So there's really nothing on the portal that needs to be moved other than just the look and feel and how it's done. I don't think there's any direct way to move from one to the other, but I can follow up with my team and get more details on that. But essentially, if anyone on this call today is looking to use the Nitro Portal versus the Power Portal, I'd recommend you can just go ahead and I'll show you where you can install this. You can install the Nitro Portal from the Nitro Studio page, applications page. And just to kind of highlight that installation difference in the Power Portal, you're requiring it to be a subsite to the application site. You'll see that it says IT professional or whatever the site is / Power Portal. You don't get a choice if you don't do this, or if you don't specify the parent site as being this IT or whatever main application site. It's going to throw an error, and it's going to it just won't install. It's looking for particular lists and libraries in there that needs to have to reference. Now, the Nitro Portal is kind of looking for the same thing, but you can see you can actually have that parent site be the same site as the IT portal. And you can see the difference in the URL right here. You're putting it at the same level as your main application site. It's not a subsite to that, so it gives you more of that flatter structure that Microsoft is pushing. So you can do that, but you can still point it to an IT site to pre-build it. Now, that being said, you can go out and build a workspace page that has all the portal elements in it if you want, and that's kind of the thing is that it's a flexible interface that you could build it from scratch if you wanted to. but having it tied into a main application site allows you to pre-configure a lot of this stuff, and as part of our install package, it'll pre-configure a lot of that stuff for you. All right, so I think that's, we'll go ahead and get over to kind of the demo side of things here, and just walk through some of the installation process. And I won't go through it in detail, but kind of show you when I was talking about the install process and how that goes. I didn't do all that extra reconfiguration. I created the site this morning. I didn't do any extra configuration in here. You see it looks like junk. I mean, there's just nothing there. So that's where those extra steps come into play to make the Power Portal work as an application portal. Whereas this one, same idea. I went in and created this morning. I didn't do anything else. I went through the install process, and this is what came out. Pointed it to a backend application site, and here, boom, here you go. You got a ticket link. You've got the quick tickets linking out. You've got search web parts. You got the view tickets page. So like I said, a lot of this is pre-packaged, of course. This is all pre-built or pre-packaged, I say, because you can go and change this stuff around. So this being a Nitro portal, and you've seen this before, I'm sure, but if you haven't, if you need to edit any of these pages, modern page or classic page, where you're not seeing the edit options, you can type in this question mark CSS mode =1, and that will allow you to edit the page. And we're applying we're hiding those elements through the branding. So what's happening there is there's a particular portal site branding that we've put onto that page that blocks the edit button. It blocks this index. It blocks all this stuff at the top. So you're not seeing those things because of the branding. So when we add that CSS mode =1, we still have a little bit of the branding, but we can get in and actually edit things. And we can come in here and hit edit and change the web parts. You can see on here, there's no option to do that. I mean, if I go in question mark, honestly, actually, I've never tried this. Let me try this. Equals, not A, =1. Why do I keep hitting A? Sorry about that. Hang on. 1. There we go. I've actually never tried that, but it doesn't do anything. So the Power Portal doesn't give you that flexibility. You're pretty stuck with it. Whereas here, now you can go add with the edit option enabled. You can come in here and add web parts, and if we come in here, hit the plus, we can add whatever web part we want. So that's where the Nitro portal gives you that higher level of flexibility, higher level of control over what you're presenting to the end user, and how they see it, how they interact with it. So that's where the Nitro portal really shines. You just republish, and then you're good to go. Let's see, as far as the install process itself, again, it's really easy. We'll come into, actually, I'm going to go to my top level site, and I need to go to get Nitro Studio opened. I should have this opened prior to the webinar. I apologize. Just go through this real quick. If you go to site contents at your top level, you should have Nitro Studio available there. And then you'll see the sites I've created. So here's going to be the key difference. If I wanted to create a portal for this IT site that I've installed, the Power Portal would go through this process. You go into the Manage button. This will take a second to open. We go into Nitro Portal. You'll see there's some text here talking about how we have the new Nitro Portal and how that gets installed. I'm just going to click through to the legacy portal, Power Portal application, and this is how we install it. So you go to this page here. You can see here's one that's already created. We go to create new portal site, and you gotta have the parent site be the application page, right? So it has to be this application. So just to show you, if I choose this top level site as a parent site, which I want to do because I want to have the same, have that flatter architecture, it's going to throw an error. I'll show you. Power Portal, create portal. So what's going to happen? It's going to go through this process, and it's going to throw an error and say, hey, I can't find those certain lists and things that I need to create this site. It's going to take a little while to figure it out. And it should kick back with an error fairly soon. All right, well, we'll come back to that page because it's taking a little while. I don't want to take up your time watching something go through the process there. Now, and so for the Nitro portal, anyone interested in installing the Nitro portal piece, you can go to Nitro applications. So you can do that through the link here in the, once you click through this Nitro portal link on the site, you can go to the Nitro applications. Another way to do it, though, is if you go to your Nitro admin home. And you can see there's a link to Nitro applications here in the top upper left. And then you can choose to do it as modern or classic, and then you'll see on here there should be portal. Yeah, IT portal. Let's see, there's one for IT portal 2020, and there's also one for the modern UI. Yeah, see IT professional, IT portal. Yeah, IT portal, here it is, 2020. So there's IT, there's also request manager portal. And we've really created the portals mainly for the the ticketing applications, like for your help desk, for if you have I think if you have facilities, you could use the IT site, IT portal. If you have request manager, then you can use the request site, request portal, management portal. We don't have portals out of the box at this point for applications like purchasing or onboarding, just yet. I mean, those things, we can create portals and we can but what we basically be doing is creating a workspace page in the modern or classic UI and then adding the croquet and web parts to it. So that's how you could build out that kind of like portal interface for those other applications. But yeah, for IT, IT and requests, and you can see that it's on here as having portals out of the box. And the process is going to be very similar to what you do with an application. We're going to point to a parent site, which we're going to do that, 9 through 20. Give it a title, do Nitro Portal 2. Just give me Portal 2. And then now you have to link it to a site. We're going to link it over to our IT site that we've already installed. And that's one of the things, is that site should be installed first. The application site should exist before you install the portal. That's the way our system will know to, how to configure the list views, what list views to use, because it's got to go and do all those things. Otherwise, if you're creating a portal from scratch or creating a workspace page from scratch, you have to go and define all those list views. You have to go and define all those tiles and dials, or quick tiles, or whatever the case may be. That's all pre-configured. That's what we mean by pre-packaged portal, ready to go. So then hit OK, and it's going to go through the process. I'll say OK. It kind of goes through this process. And then if we click back over to our Power Portal, oh, it does. Oh, that's interesting. It's created successfully. Huh. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Well, it's going to throw me an error. That's weird. Okay, it came up with a weird thing. All right. Well, anyway, that's one of those things. Whenever you do a demo, you're always going to get something unexpected. It's just that's weird. So for some reason, this guy decided it would actually create it. So let's go ahead and let's try it again. I think I may have had some extra stuff in there. It's probably just going to look like the other portal where there's nothing really configured. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of gives you that blank portal. But yeah, so there's a bunch of extra steps you need to take on the Power Portal to get it to work. Now, as far as we got another question coming in about the. Let's go over to, where's my page here? Anyway, yeah, let's stay on this one. Question coming in about having more than one portal going to the same tickets list. Yeah, I don't see why not. Sure. You can have this portal going to, one tickets list, multiple tickets list. You can have multiple tickets lists going up to one portal. So you have a many-to-many, one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-many relationship if you want with these portals and backend sites. And that's where the Nitro portal differs from the Power Portal. The Power Portal is really a one-to-one relationship, one portal, one main application site, and that's obviously pretty restricted in what you can do with it. Where the Nitro portal gives you that option, have multiple list views, have list rollup views, which we don't have on the Power Portal. So you can have those multiple application sites, but yeah, sure, you can have this Nitro portal, and you can see I'm actually creating this other Nitro 2 portal, which is going to speak back to the same site, the same IT professional site that I created this morning for this webinar. So yeah, you can have two portals going to the same site. Why would you want to do that? Well, I assume you'd want to do that because you have different user groups. Maybe you have different types of tickets coming in. Maybe you want to have one portal for incidents, one portal for requests, but all those things coming into the backend are going to the same tickets list. Now that does present some other complications, and I was cautioning against having too many different departments or too many different groups writing back to the same tickets list. If there are different needs, different requirements, different SLAs, different fields that they need to capture, if they're going to have a lot of different categories and issue types, that could be problematic. But if it's pretty consistent across the board, you're going to be, then that might work for you. All right, so this is just going through the process on creating that. Where was it? Over here? There it is. Okay. Yeah, so that's the Nitro portal. That's kind of where we came from in the past. That's where we've come to now. And so let's talk a little bit about what the future looks like. So the whole portal concept is still kind of this idea of someone going to a site, either looking up information or submitting it through a ticket, submitting it through, they can see tickets they've submitted, et cetera, et cetera. So what's next? So, we're here at Crow Canyon are really looking towards this whole Teams interface and this whole bot interface, where you have this bot interaction on either through Teams or through some other channel, where people can, instead of coming to a portal like this, maybe they don't even access SharePoint at all. They just go to Teams and say, hey, here's our IT support bot. Here's our whatever team support bot. Write in the question, send it through, and get an answer from the bot. So the bot will go and do the search. So instead of the person coming here and saying, okay, let me go click on knowledge base, let me go see what articles I can find. Okay, printer stuck, printer stuck because it sucks. And whatever, they get something, either get a result or not. And then where do they go from here? Oh, they're hosed. They don't have anywhere to go from here. So that's where the bot comes into play, taking this whole interaction to another level, where you have the person going in, they say, I have a printer problem. And the bot says, okay, I don't have anything I can help you with, but why don't you go and create a support ticket? So it gives you a link within the bot interface to create that ticket. So you can take this concept, rather than having someone click through, maybe get frustrated because they can't find the right information, then they have to come and submit a support ticket over here, fill out their details, blah, 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 right? So the next iteration of all this is going to be bots, kind of self-help. They're going to have within the bot interface, I didn't quite set this up for the bot demo today, so I don't quite have all this to show you. I will tell you though that Ryan, I think, is going to be running a webinar tomorrow at the same time. If you want to learn more about chatbots and that kind of usage, I would encourage you to sign up for that webinar tomorrow, where they'll get more into the nitty gritty of it. But that's where we're going with this stuff. So the Nitro portal gives you a really great, SharePoint centric interface to have your users interact with, a lot of flexibility. You can kind of build it out as almost like a de facto intranet site in a way. But yeah, the next iteration, the future of this is bots. Let's take it out of the hands of the person having to remember what site to go to. Even within Teams, even within that concept, you could display this page. This whole interface could be within Teams. I mean, you can take just kind of show you that real quick. You can take this Nitro portal we've created. And of course, I'm going to do this and it's probably not going to work, right? So I'm going to try it though. I'm going to try it. Where am I at? I want to go over here to Teams. So we have our Teams interface going. And say we're going to just be in the general tab here, just to kind of show you what it looks like. We add a tab, go to SharePoint, and we're going to add a pager list from any SharePoint library, save. And got it, okay. There you are. So if you wanted to just take the port, this would, I think, in all fairness, this would work with the Power Portal as well, because Teams is allowing you to show pretty much any SharePoint interface within within the Teams area. So yeah, again, this is obviously kind of centric towards the Office 365 crowd and the modern UI crowd, because Teams is looking for the modern UI. Teams is looking for SharePoint site. If you got to be in Teams to begin with, which a lot of on-prem people might not be, but just kind of show you kind of the next iteration of where we're going with this, with the whole Teams interface, and then again, I don't know if I have the bot set up here. No, I don't think I do. Yeah, again, we'll have the whole bot discussion going on tomorrow in a webinar at the same time. So, feel free to sign up for that, get some more information. So you can do that. Yeah, and you can obviously you can rename this if you wanted to, say IT ticket portal, for instance, just to make it more clear what we're doing here. So just kind of show you got some options in Teams to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, so we got the portal. We're talking about Teams and chatbots and all that stuff as kind of the next iteration of end user. Essentially, what we're talking about with portals, the heart of it is end user interaction with our applications, right? So the portal gives one flavor of that. We've improved that, hopefully improved that flavor over the years to make it more flexible, make you design what it looks like, you design what you want to show. And now we're going to take that concept even further and give the end users a maybe even better or slicker or easier interface for them to interact with. So we always got that in mind. We want to make it easy for your people to do their work. We want to make it easy for them to communicate. We want to make it easy for them to get resolutions to their problems. That's what we're all about. So closing, I'm going to go ahead and show you, well, I've just got a few, closing slides here that we can go through. Same idea. It's like, okay, let's just move on to this one. Well, if you need to get in touch with us, here's the information to do that. I'm actually on the wrong screen, but that's okay. What I'll do too, hold on a sec. Let me go to here. Again, sorry, I should have had this set up ahead of time, but if we go to crowcanyon.com and resources, webinars. Let's kind of show you what's coming up. I guess what he's talking about, intuitive and affordable help desk solution. Okay, so Ryan's talking about that tomorrow. I apologize. I thought we were talking about bots tomorrow. That bot presentation is actually a little bit later this month, so it gives you a little time to prepare. If you're interested in seeing more about bots, I would recommend joining that webinar. And then as far as upcoming workshops, you can see here's the one we're doing right now. And then coming up in October, we're going to just do a deeper dive into Nitro Forms and some of the more advanced stuff, such as form event actions, external data columns, some of the things that beyond just creating a form, adding some fields to the form and doing cascading lookups and things like that. We're going to take it to another level. So if you're interested in learning about those things and where you can really kind of expand on the form with maybe through scripting or even through adding custom actions and script actions and things like that, that's what we're going to talk about next month in these workshops. So I hope you found today informative. If you have any questions about the portals or any questions about Nitro portals or moving from one to the other, feel free to reach out to us. You know where to find us, I think, and we'll be happy to have a discussion with you. So I think that's just about it for me today, and I won't take up more of your time. I'll let you get back to the balance of the hour. Thank you for joining. Appreciate everyone's time. I'll just leave it open for a minute or two to see if there's any other questions that come through. Otherwise, have a great day, everyone.